Coming up on the Daily O, Cowboy football continues to prepare themselves as they travel to Lawrence on Saturday. Find out more on what they had to say. One NFL franchise may be sold sooner rather than later. Also, Cowboy basketball is inching closer to their season debut. We'll tell you all that and more on the Daily O. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to this Wednesday's edition of the Daily O. I'm Aaron Gonders. We're glad you've joined us tonight. Cowboy football continues their preparation for this Saturday against the Kansas Jayhawks. Tuesday afternoon, players spoke to the media about their prior performance against K-State and how they look to prepare going into this weekend.
Starts off with just getting it erased out of your mind. I mean, yes, we can mope about it, we can groan about it that day, but the next day, so Sunday, we just gotta refocus, get it, erase it. We gotta come in, maybe watch a little more film, maybe practice a little bit harder, whatever the case is. We just gotta come in, just prepare more, because I feel like that's kind of where we selected last week, was just the preparation part. So coming in this week, just preparing a little bit more. Like I said, maybe it's watching film, going harder at practice, staying after practice, doing a little extra. This year, you can tell that's been one of our weakest points. So just not having that running game, especially as a running back, is kind of tough, because that's your job. You're supposed to run the ball and everything, but I have confidence in our own line just to get it going and everything, and even just us backs having that vision just to see where we're going and everything like that. And Coach Dunn, Coach Waz, Coach Gundy, everybody's just making sure we're going to get that. They're going to be physical. They're always going to have some fight in them, especially going to their place. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere and everything. But like I said, we're just refocusing and everything, get ready to play for this week. But it's going to be a fight, so I'm excited. I'm ready.
I mean, it was more disappointing than anything. I mean, I felt like we just got off, or I felt like we didn't even get off the bus. I mean, just kind of felt like the effort was low, the attitude was down. It's just terrible. They got some wide receivers that can go. Running back, he's a good player. O-lines are a strong unit. I mean, they work together, move together well, and do a lot of position blocking well. So it's going to be a challenge.
Everybody really proud of him. He just came, stepped up when we needed him really at the most times. DJ going down, his shoulder injury and stuff like that. And so he just came in and it's been real good, real helpful for him. What it kind of does, but we try to keep the same thing traveling or staying at home, just keep the same mindset, the same focus. Even though we had to do way more stuff when we do travel, but we still just try to stay focused. Like I said, we just gotta reset really and just be like, just forget about it, because we can't do nothing about it no more, obviously. But from Sunday on, we just had to refocus. I was ready, just because I didn't have the on-field experience, but I just had the experience given to me, from the older guys that asking questions, how is it out there and stuff like that. They really help me. They've been getting better, like you said. So the biggest thing I think is, like I said, just really just focus. Today, tomorrow, and throughout the whole week with just film and everything, and just making sure we're ready when we talk about it.
Kickoff for both teams is set for 2:30 p.m. in Lawrence. Make sure before kickoff begins to get all the info you need to know from both squads on the O'Colly TV pregame show. Dylan Walker and Emma Lightfoot and the O'Colly TV crew will keep you in the loop all the way until kickoff. Find the show on the O'Colly TV app, on Roku, or on ocolly.com/TV. While the Cowboys look to continue their preparation, they're going to have to adjust in the special teams. On social media, Cowboys punter Tom Hutton announced that he will be out for the season and ending his career following an injury sustained in the Kansas State loss. Hutton, the oldest current player in college football, wore the orange and black for 4 seasons. The 32-year-old currently leads the conference in punt yards and punts down within the 20-yard line. Logan Ward will take over Hutton's duty in his spot. Part 1 down, 3 more to go on the Daily O. When we return, we'll have your national headlines on deck with some interesting news regarding college basketball. Cowgirl softball also released their conference schedule for the 2023 season. We'll tell you where they're going, and the Daily O will be right back.
I'm Kristen Hawkins. I went to Oklahoma State University here in Stillwater in '99 to 2004. I've always felt like Stillwater needed more family-friendly things to do, and we have opened up AR Workshop. We do everything from knitting blankets that can be done in a 3-hour class. We create doormats and porch signs, the Christmas wreaths with our yarn that we use for the blankets. We also do, we just started a new project for gnomes. We've done pumpkins during the fall, but our big thing that we do here are interior signs. Our designs are extremely unique to AR Workshop. Customers come in, everything is here for them to do. They create everything. They can be as hands-on as they want. They came in here to relax and have fun, and that they are proud of their project that they've made.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
You may have been to casinos at some point in your life, but do you really know the truth behind the game you're playing?
And the casinos were very polemic or very controversial when they came out. But the truth was, that's all the federal government gave us.
Casino is owned by the Chickasaw Nation and has roughly 600,000 square feet of dedicated gambling space, making it the world's largest casino. It contributed massively to the Chickasaw Nation, posting a net revenue of $1.4 billion for the fiscal year of 2017.
Welcome back to the Daily O. It's time to dive into your national headlines. Some shocking news here within the Big 12 for basketball. Kansas head coach Bill Self is suspended for the first 4 games of the 2022-2023 season in a self-imposed punishment. There are also expected recruiting limitations on top of his suspension. Self signed a lifetime contract recently that prohibits being fired for cause for reasons associated with the 2017 federal probe into college basketball recruiting and payments executed by Adidas. The probe led to the firings of both Louisville's Rick Pitino and Arizona's Sean Miller. Self has maintained his innocence, but said he's not at liberty to discuss details of the matter. The investigation revealed a text exchange in which Adidas' TJ Gesnola told Self that Silvio De Sousa was among recruits offered payments of up to $100,000 in covert deals financed by the apparel company. Norm Roberts will be acting as head coach while the punishment is being taken out. That also includes the 4-game suspension, and assistant coach Curtis Townsend. Roberts will also coach Kansas in the November 15th game against Duke in Indianapolis. Moving into the boxing realm now, former heavyweight boxer Goran Gogic is facing a minimum 10-year prison sentence after his arrest for drug trafficking. Gogic was arrested this morning in the Miami International Airport for trafficking over 20 tons of narcotics worth more than $1 billion. The charges are linked to 3 previous seizures and the 2 arrests that went with them. Gogic is rumored to have organized the operation, which was part of a shipping chain that prosecutors claim took meticulous planning to ship the narcotics from Colombia through the United States all the way to Europe. Gogic was an active boxer from 2001 to 2012, while he built up a 21-4 record. And now move into the football realm. Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder is exploring selling the franchise, according to recent reports this morning. Snyder is now working with Bank of America to explore a possible sale of the Commanders. Despite the mounting outside pressure to sell the team, though, Snyder is not required to sell the team. Over the most recent season, Snyder has faced criticism as an owner and as a person, most recently, and the Commanders were investigated for instances of sexual misconduct and unlawful financial conduct. If the Commanders do sell, however, Forbes values the team at $5.6 billion, but it could sell for more, as much as $7 billion. Now back in Stillwater, we have some news on Cowgirls softball. Today, OSU Athletics announced conference schedules for the 2023 Cowgirls softball season. Conference play starts on March 24th with a home series against the Lady Bears. Next, they go to Lawrence for a series against the Kansas Jayhawks. Following that series, the Cowgirls come back to Stillwater to face the Iowa State Cyclones, and then the Cowgirls then head back on the road to go to Lubbock for a matchup with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. The Cowgirls close the season with a series against the best teams in the conference. First, they travel down south to Austin to take on the Texas Longhorns, and then they return home to Stillwater for Bedlam softball against the reigning national champs, the Oklahoma Sooners. The Cowgirls are also looking to build off of a stellar season that saw them win the Big 12 tournament, and they made it to the Women's College World Series. Time to take another break, but when we come back, we'll hear from Coach Mike Boynton as we inch closer to the start of Cowboy basketball. The Oklahoma City Thunder had another home game last night. We'll tell you how that went. So don't go anywhere. The Daily O, we'll be right back.
Geographies, the historic Route 66, unforgettable restaurants, and some of the greatest people on the planet. With so much to see and so much to do, living in Oklahoma means one of the best vacation spots is right in our own backyard. Doesn't this story need to be told? As filmmakers and photographers based right here in Oklahoma, we thought so. And hey, who doesn't like a good road trip? So, we packed up our cameras, teamed up with Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell and the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department, and that's how this series was born. We want to show you why traveling within the great state of Oklahoma is a great idea. So come join us for thousands of miles over the next year, from Broken Bow to Black Mesa. This is the Oklahoma Road Trip.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, the things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
Over the years, we kind of realized that you can get ribs anywhere, you can get a steak anywhere, but you can't always get a Mountain View hot link like ours. So we really decided to focus on that niche and realized we had something really special. So that's when we started focusing more on the hot links, but it's still the same family recipe they were making all those years ago. For us, many of our people that work here have been with us for years and decades. So whereas machines kind of break down over time, the people just get better. And it shows in the products we produce. When you buy a Mountain View product, not only is it going to taste dynamite, but you're also feeding Oklahomans. You're helping employ Oklahomans, and you're helping to fund the state's economy. So what's better than that?
Welcome back to the Daily O, everyone. I'm Aaron Gonders. College basketball is inching closer as we're now less than 2 weeks away from the season. Cowboys head coach Mike Boynton spoke with the media Tuesday afternoon to discuss his game plan going into the season. Take a listen.
I'm excited to get started. Obviously, it's been a long off season, longer than we'd hoped it would have been. But nonetheless, that's all behind us, and I think our guys share that excitement and looking forward to seeing how it all starts to come together. So we need 2 good days of preparation and focus, but I'm excited to see how they put it all together. Honestly, I mean, a lot of people point to intangible things. I think we've gotten better as a team. We pass it better, we cut better, we talk more, and I could see the guys are just getting comfortable that that's a part of winning. Today's practice is really important, but we've practiced with a group that we think is going to start in John Michael, Avery, Bryce Thompson, Caleb, and Musa, and that's kind of been the way we've trended for about 2.5, 3 weeks now. First it gives you a really strong head start on the defensive end, interior-wise. I mean, I think that's obvious. You got the 2 best shot blockers in the best defensive conference in the country. So it gives you, the question is offensively, what are they, how do they kind of stay out of each other's way, sort of. But I think they really need to figure out how to help each other as much as staying out of each other's way. And they can because Musa's gotten so much better offensively is the biggest key in that, and KB's gotten more comfortable playing as a perimeter player, not in a playmaking sense, but as a cutter and as somebody who can flash to the high post and throw a high-low pass. Those are things that we'll look to try to see how well we can execute again for the first time under lights with people in the stands, because so far in practice there's some good returns on them. And I'm not shy about saying it. I feel like the 3 of them give us, maybe the best grouping of 4 or 5 men out there. I mean, everybody in our league certainly has one of them, and most teams have 2, but I don't know how many have 3 really capable defensive present, and they all score differently, but guys that are capable of really kind of being a dominant figure inside the lane. And so I think as good as we hope our guards are going to be on a lot of nights, those guys could be the difference in our games. Yeah, I mean, I usually don't love playing against friends. I've gotten to know a lot of other coaches, and so it's relatively unavoidable at this point. But I do like playing against people who I respect, and you'll certainly know that we're going to try to help make each other better. It's an opportunity for his guys to experience something like this, playing in GIA, which is still a historic place to play basketball, and for our guys to get better in our preparation to achieve some of the goals that we've set for ourselves. And so I'm looking forward to it. I know he's going to have a team that's tough and prepared, and they're going to try to play fast, and I'm sure they're going to do some unique things because they don't have the type of size that we'll be able to put out there. But I'm certainly he'll have his team prepared to try to battle with us as hard as they can.
Boynton and his squad will open up their season tomorrow at Gallagher-Iba Arena in an exhibition game against Ouachita Baptist University. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. And we'll take you now from one basketball court to another to tell you about the Oklahoma City Thunder. They won their 4th straight game last night, this time against the Orlando Magic, 116-108. Leading the charge was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who dropped 34 points to go with 3 steals and 2 blocks. Alexei Pokusevski chipped in with 16, as well as 14 points from Luguentz Dort. The road for the Thunder, though, doesn't get easier this season. However, their next 2 games are tomorrow against the Denver Nuggets at Paycom Center, and then they hit the road to take on the Milwaukee Bucks on Saturday. Moving to the Diamond now, Game 3 of the World Series kicked off in the city of brotherly love. The Astros and the Phillies kicked things off in one of the most electric crowds this year. Both teams came in knotted up 1 game apiece, and the Phillies wanted no part of falling behind. A 2-run blast by Bryce Harper in the first inning, followed by 4 more home runs throughout the game, would propel the Phillies to a 7-0 shutout to take a 2-1 series lead. Action picks up again tonight for Game 4 in Philly with a first pitch at 7 p.m. And we're going to take one last break, But when we return, we'll show you one of the weirdest sports we could find. Also, it's time to celebrate a few athletes' birthdays and discover what happened on this day in sports history. The Daily O will be right back.
We use the very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is the best that is. Very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why it makes our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our touch of uniqueness, linking our name, our product, with the reputation of the Made in Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as far as promoting our product.
Hi, I'm Shauna here at Where the Buffalo Roam in beautiful downtown Pawnee, Oklahoma. We have a lot of beautiful and unique items for sale in the store, but our number one items are Navajo jewelry, Pendleton blankets, and Consuela. It's a great place to shop, a beautiful downtown, so come see us in Pawnee, Oklahoma.
We use the very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is the best that is. Very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why it makes our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our touch of uniqueness, linking our name, our product, with the reputation of the Made in Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as far as promoting our product.
Welcome back to the Daily O, everyone. I'm Aaron Gonders. Get ready to go back in time as we look back at what happened on this day in sports history. First, we'll take you back to 1978 for a bit of hockey. Today, the Indianapolis Racers sold Wayne Gretzky to the Edmonton Oilers only 8 games into his rookie season. After the deal was made, Gretzky went on to be the hockey GOAT we all know and love. He finished his rookie season with 104 goals in 72 games. He also earned the World Hockey Association Rookie of the Year honor. We'll move on to 1986 when German legend Boris Becker won his 3rd tennis tournament in 3 weeks. It also might be worth mentioning that each tournament was on a different continent. Our next stop is in 1990 where we got to see some basketball history. The Golden State Warriors and the Denver Nuggets put on a show in the highest scoring game ever in regulation time. The Warriors won the game 162-158. The 320 combined points are the most ever scored in the NBA without an overtime period. And all right, it's time to put on those party hats because today, got some birthdays to celebrate. We have 2 birthdays today, and both are in the NFL. First up is San Francisco 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, who turns 31 today. Garoppolo was a 2-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots as Tom Brady's backup, and he also led the 49ers to a 2019 NFC Championship win before falling to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Next up is former receiver Roddy White. White turns 40 today and led an inspiring NFL career as one of the best pass catchers of his day. White played for the Atlanta Falcons for his whole career. He was also an All-Pro receiver and received 4 invites to the Pro Bowl in his career. White also is still the Atlanta Falcons leader in touchdown receptions. And now, time to experience the truly strange. Our strange sport of the day today is a cult classic, lawnmower racing. The United States Lawnmower Racing Association was established in 1992 on April Fool's Day and has since built a loyal following of fans and racers. For a lawnmower to be eligible to race, by the way, it must have its blades removed and fueled with pump gas. The only additive allowed to that gas is Stable Fuel Stabilizer, which is the sponsor of the association. There are 3 major mower categories. Stock mowers are just your average lawn mowers, and they're delivered from the factory, minus the blades. They usually run around 6 to 8 miles per hour, just like they would in your backyard. Prepared mowers usually involve changes in the drivetrain and engine. According to the association's website, these have been known to go up to 85 miles per hour, but usually only drive 35 to 40 on the track. The last major category is the FX class. Heavy modifications are allowed at this stage, which allows the mowers to go up to around 60 miles per hour on the track. The next big race for the season is on April 7th at the 12-mile 500 in 12 Mile, Indiana. And we'll take one last look now at your national headlines before we let you go. Kansas head coach Bill Self is suspended for the first 4 games of this 2022-2023 season in a self-imposed punishment. There are also expected recruiting limitations on top of his suspension. Self signed a lifetime contract that prohibits being fired for cause for reasons associated with the 2017 federal probe into college basketball recruiting and payments executed by Adidas. The probe led to the firings of both Louisville's Rick Pitino and Arizona's Sean Miller. The investigation revealed a text exchange in which Adidas' TJ Gesnola told Self that Silvio De Sousa was among recruits offered payments of up to $100,000 in covert deals financed by the apparel company. Norm Roberts will be acting as head coach during the suspension. Former heavyweight boxer Goran Gogic is facing a minimum 10-year prison sentence after his arrest for drug trafficking. Gogic was arrested this morning in Miami International Airport for trafficking over 20 tons of narcotics worth more than $1 billion. The operation was part of a shipping chain that prosecutors claim took meticulous planning to ship the narcotics from Colombia through the United States all the way to Europe. Gogic was an active boxer from 2001 to 2012, and he built up a 21-4 record. The Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder is exploring selling the franchise. According to recent reports this morning, Snyder is working with Bank of America to explore a possible sale of the Commanders. Most recently, the Commanders were investigated for instances of sexual misconduct and unlawful financial conduct. If the Commanders do sell, Forbes values the team at $5.6 billion, but it could sell for more, as much as $7 billion. That's going to do it for today's episode of The Daily O. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. Emma Lightfoot will have you covered for all the OSU and national headlines you need. For The Daily O, I'm Aaron Gonders. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.
Ace in the Bowl Salsa started many, many years ago. I was trying to find a recipe to take to a family gathering, and so I started messing around with different recipes, and I took a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I came up with a salsa that is truly unique. Ace in the Bowl Salsa is an olive oil-based salsa with tomatoes, green chilies, green onions, and black olives. There's no sugar added, it's gluten-free, low calorie, low carb, low fat, low sodium. So it's a very, very, very good alternative to any snack you may want. As of right now, I'm just looking to be in Oklahoma and having a successful business within the state. If my grandkids could ever take it over when they're old enough, that would be my dream.
Are when folks drink our water is that they'll drink it for a few days and find out the difference. They'll start feeling better because there's been no chemical in our water. There's a list of good things that we have. We don't have any bad things in it. I see the future of Divine Water as being worldwide, which will bring outside dollars into the state. It means a lot to me because I started it, I guess, and our family started it.
You may have been to casinos at some point in your life, but do you really know the truth behind the game you're playing?
the casinos were very polemic or very controversial when they came out. But the truth was, that's all the federal government gave us.
The casino is owned by the Chickasaw Nation and has roughly 600,000 square feet of dedicated gambling space, making it the world's largest casino. It contributed massively to the Chickasaw Nation posting a net revenue of $1.4 billion for the fiscal year of 2017.